Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you love MMA as much as I do. I'll have to go with Dustin Poirier. And it's not because they've already fought twice and Poirier has already beaten him twice. Both fights were very competitive, especially that last fight that they had. It was very competitive. I looked more in their fighting styles, and I looked at how they've both have lost fights or how they've had success in fights. And for Max Holloway, as dangerous as he is on the feet, and although I do think he is very capable of knocking out Poirier or anybody, I also look at the fact that Max Holloway and his losses, like to Volkanovski, to Poirier, his losses to McGregor in the past, over 10 years ago, his losses to Poirier already, in those fights, there's been a common denominator. He has taken way too much damage, and even though he has landed some good hits in those fights, he takes too much damage, and the guy he tends to be fighting in those losses tends to outstrike him and out-technical him, if that makes sense. And what I mean is, he gets into a brawl mode, most of those times. Outside of that Poirier fight, Poirier's knocking out everybody, though. But the point is, and he ends up swinging a lot and he misses a lot because the guy is usually outsmarting him on the feet and just picking him apart. And he's had fights where he gets kicked in the leg a lot. And I think that's a bad thing for Max Holloway in this fight. Dustin Poirier, on the other hand, yes, he's been knocked out several times. Now, again, I'm not saying Max Holloway cannot beat Dustin Poirier. I think he can knock him out, and it wouldn't surprise me if he did. However, Dustin Poirier, the difference between him and Max, he does take damage, but nowhere near as much damage. I look most notably at his second Conor McGregor fight. When he beat Conor McGregor, that's when Conor was still, I'm not saying he's not in his prime now, but clearly he was in a very good position to beat Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier used a lot of leg kicks. Max Holloway has been prone to taking a lot of leg kicks, and it has hurt him in fights. And he was able to have good head movement when he fought Conor McGregor. He did get lit a few times in that fight, and it was a great fight. But he managed to be technical. He used the leg kicks to open up more punches to the point where he eventually got a finish over Conor McGregor. I think he beats Max Holloway either by unanimous decision or he'll get a late stoppage. Again, those leg kicks are dangerous in MMA. You saw it with Roundtree when he beat Jamal Hill a couple weeks back. You see where he takes a lot of leg kicks, it tends to backfire. Outside of the Justin Gaethje fight, which he won, by the way, as I predicted last year. I just don't, again, unless Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier end up in a back-and-forth brawl, I just don't see him beating Dustin Poirier. And again, it has nothing to do with the other two fights. Those fights don't matter because those are different fights. It's just I've seen how Dustin Poirier fights. I've seen how he fights. And I've seen where he uses things to his advantage that I believe would hurt Max Holloway. So I ultimately see Dustin Poirier. And here's the thing. When Poirier beat Holloway in his last fight, he knocked him out. Boss Rutan has said it over 20 years ago. He said if you get knocked out once, it's easier to get knocked out a second time than a third time. So I have Dustin Poirier. I think he'll be using the leg kicks a lot. Holloway having some success with his punches, but I think Dustin Poirier will be able to have a better technique. I think he has the better technique on the feet. He'll be able to outstrike Max Holloway. The leg kicks will open up Max Holloway a lot to more damage. And then in the later rounds, in the late third, early fourth, even fifth rounds, you will see Poirier outstrike Max Holloway. And that's where I think you'll see him be able to put him away with strikes. So I have Dustin Poirier by fourth or fifth round TKO.